and your average total cost is this point. So at this point, your MC is greater than average total cost. So if this condition occurs, what is managerial discussion? Reduce the production. So when you reduce the production, average total cost is decreasing. See? So what we talk about that here? If we are here at this point where MC is greater than ATC, reduce the output. So reducing the output will decrease the average total cost, right? So let's go back to our PPT. So whenever marginal cost is less than the average total cost, increase the production, right? Because average total cost is falling. Increase the production. Whenever marginal cost is greater than the average total cost, decrease the output, because average total cost is increasing, which means your profit is decreasing. And then we talked about, we already discussed that marginal cost crosses the average total cost at its minimum. So let's talk about the behavior. We just talk about that. So marginal cost crosses the average total cost at its minimum point. Average variable cost is less than the average total cost. Average fixed cost is always falling, right? Only one cost curve that crosses the average variable cost and average total cost, that is marginal cost. So revision, important concept regarding the behavior of the cost curve. Number one, marginal cost eventually rises. At very small level of output, marginal cost may decrease, but when you increase the production, marginal cost always rises. Average total cost is a U-shaped curve, we already know that. And the marginal cost crosses the average total cost at its minimum. If your graph shows that marginal cost is not crossing the average total cost at its minimum, it means your graph is wrong, because that is universal proved phenomena that marginal cost crosses the average total cost at its bottom or efficient scale. We also talked about this concept checker, which is very important, which is whenever marginal cost is less than the average total cost, we just talk about that. When MC less than average total cost, we talked about increase the production, right? Why? Because average total cost is falling. So which one is right here? C. So we also talked about this one. At all levels of production beyond the point where marginal cost curve crosses the average total cost curve, average variable cost is, if you look at the graph, this is the average total cost. This is the average variable cost. Sorry, let me erase that. Average variable cost is below the average total cost. So and this is the MC. So the question says, at all level of production beyond where marginal cost crosses the average total cost. So the question is talking about this area. So you see in this area, what's going on? Average variable cost start rising. So answer is A, right? So this is how you do that. So this is the actual, if you have more data, your curve looks like this. So A curve is the only curve that crosses both two curves at its minimum, so it must be MC. B curve, U-shaped curve, but there are two types of U-shaped curves, so B and C. B is above, so it is average total cost. C would be average variable cost, and that curve which is always falling, average fixed cost, right? So this is how you do that. We already discussed in our last lecture. And then we talked about the scenario here. I think did we talk about the scenario or not? Ferdinand.
We already talked about it last.
Okay. Okay. So the practical scenario here is that suppose that your firm experiences a decrease in marginal product of labor with the addition of each worker regardless of the current level of output. Your average total cost would be, of course, U-shaped curve. Average fixed cost is always falling. Marginal cost is rising all the point because marginal cost is like this curve. Okay, here I think, yeah, we ended our discussion here, short run and long run decision. So up till now, what we have revised is based on short run. In short run, we saw the behavior that cost behave in two different patterns. One is fixed and one is variables. So up till now, what we have discussed, the marginal cost, the average total cost, the average variable cost, these behavior are based on short run. In long run, all fixed cost becomes variable. We talked about its application as well, because rent, for example, rent for 1 year it looks fixed, but if you see on year basis, so you are right now in Shanghai, you are paying 4,000 for a small one-bedroom apartment, but next year you would be paying 4,500. Next, after 2 years, you would be paying 5,000. So if you see on yearly basis, so it is 4,000, 4,500, 5,000. But during the year, January, February, March, April, it is 4,000, 4,000, 4,000. So in long run, which is we consider above 1 year, all fixed costs will become the variable cost. So a firm's long run cost curve would be different from its short run. Here we go. So if you understand that, then which will be realistic one for it? So let's just read that. Which of these assumptions is often realistic for a firm in short run? Please answer this question. PD, Piranen, Gustavo, and Amar. I want your 100% participation on this concept checker.
I will say C.
Me too. C.
How about you, Amar?
C.
Because in short run, it is hard for you to expand the size of the factory. It takes a longer time. Well done, guys. Well done. Okay, now the concept of economies of scale. You heard this term a number of times, right? So let's just talk about this economically. What we mean by economies of scale in real sense in economics. So economies of scale refer to property whereby long run average total cost curve falls as the quantity of output increases. So if a big company is enjoying economies of scale, what does it mean? It means they are producing, they are remaining in that area. They are not going here. Their production is not increasing and increasing the average total cost. No, they are remaining on the left side of the average total cost, which is L-shaped. So I would be giving you example. I think in our next slide we will be having the example. So economies of scale is a long run property. Remember, it's not short run, long run strategy in which companies maintain their production, right, near the bottom of the U-shaped curve. So if you divide the U-shaped curve, there is a right part in which increase the production, the average total cost increasing, right? So if you divide this, so this part is quantity increase, average total cost also increases. But this part, quantity increases, average total cost is decreases. So they remain on the left side. So this property applicables on left side. Again, I'm reading that one. It is economies of scale refers to the property whereby long run average total cost falls as the quantity of output increases. This economies of scale refers to the property whereby long run average total cost rises as the quantity of output increases. So this part, right side part, when big companies in the long run, they produce more, their costs start rising. So it means right part of average total cost. Constant return to scale. What if they remain here in this level where they increase the production cost remain the same? We call this constant return to scale. That property whereby long run average total cost stays the same as the quantity of output increases, which means quantity increases, average total cost, average total cost stays the same. This is called constant return to scale. So let's just talk about the long run, how we make the long run average total cost. So you see, this is short run average total cost. So if we connect the bottom, because in short run company will be producing where cost is minimum, right? At the bottom. If you connect the bottom, that become your average total cost, long run average total cost. So let me see that here. See? So these are short run average total cost, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. In 1 year, their average total cost is like this. Next year, their average total cost like this. Another year, their average total cost like this. Right? They are becoming big, small, medium on yearly basis. But if we connect the bottom, because